It's now day 14. This Thursday reading now, chapters 27, 28 of 1 Samuel. Brief recap of yesterday's reading. There was the husband, wife, Nabal and Abigail, and whose estate had insulted David. But Abigail, the wife, was wise, and she was able to throw it off David's sword, but her husband died of a stroke. And then there was Saul, who was coming after David again. David went into his camp, took Saul's spear and his canteen, and then basically said, "What now? I could have taken your life once again, and I have spared you." And so once more, and the redundancy of it all, David is shown to be quite capable, someone you don't mess with, but someone who's also full of self-restraint and control. Meanwhile, Saul is still helplessly vindictive, it seems. Now, as we're heading toward the conclusion here of this book, things are getting a little odd. Chapter 27, David's going to go over to the Philistines and take his men there. Remember, this is the arch nemesis. There's bad history between David and the Philistines. He's killed many of them. Last time he was there, he decided to pretend as though he was insane, so they wouldn't use him as some sort of political prisoner. And now he's going to go there, and he's determining that he'd rather be with the Philistines than with his own people. He's wanted by Saul, and evidently he finds the Philistines more gracious than Saul, and more desirable to be around. He'd rather be around them than in his own people and have to evade Saul. David's character isn't coming into question at this point by our narrator, and I'm not sure it's intended to by we the readers, the audience of this either. If anything, it's supposed to be more anti-Saul. Look at what David's having to do. He's going way over there just to get away from Saul because Saul keeps crying and repenting as far as verbally, but Saul's not letting this thing go. So he's going to go to this king of the Philistines. They're going to create some sort of pact. David's going to have protection amongst the Philistines, a certain alliance with this king. David's going to be able to be free to wander, take his 600 men that accompany him and go wherever he wants and pretty much do whatever he wants. He's raiding towns and villages and of enemies. And then even when we get into chapter 28, this alliance has now become further cemented in that the Philistines have gathered their troops for war against Israel. And, David is going to give protection to this king. Is going to be a bodyguard of sorts. But that's not going to be the most pressing thing right now, because we've heard from David and an update on him. Now, naturally, we need an update on Saul. Well, Saul is stressed, as is consistent with his character. Samuel is gone. Hey, David's gone. Saul is pretty autonomous here. And Saul had removed the mediums and magicians, the psychics, from the land. He had done that. However, he's concerned now because there's the Philistines. They've assembled, and they're ready to fight. And Saul is concerned. It's hard enough to defeat the Philistines as it is. And now you've got David over there. Saul is trying to get an answer from God, pray and get something, but God's not talking. God's not giving him dreams. God's not speaking to the prophets. Saul's getting very stressed. He's always had somebody else. He always has had Samuel, or so it seems. He's desperate. He wants his servants to find a medium who has been out. These have been outlawed, but there is this one in Endor, popularly known as the Witch of Endor. Saul's going to put on a disguise and go there and negotiate with this woman and swear an oath that he's going to keep this a secret. But his condition is, you've got to bring me Samuel back from the dead. Well, she realizes at this point that it's Saul who's there with her. Because Samuel has come, and Samuel has been bothered, and she's able to see what's going on in what we would call the spirit realm. She's conversing with Samuel, and now Samuel and Saul are going to meet from the beyond. And why are you bothering me, Samuel wants to know. Well, it's because God is not talking to me anymore, and the Philistines are rising up to war. And Samuel's taking a posture, I hate to tell you, but, I've told you so. I told you this was going to happen. I told you God was done with you. I told you God was going to give this kingdom over to David. And now what do you expect? In fact, tomorrow you're going to die and your sons are going to die. It's going to end. It's going to be over with. And so now, as we've been reading through this book and been meeting the repetitious pattern here between Saul and David, we've been wondering how much longer is this going to go. Well, so Samuel is telling us he's about to go out. Naturally, Saul is afraid. He's going through something psychologically that's becoming physical as well. Not able to eat. Well, we get that. Everyone's encouraging him to eat, and he's not eating. In fact, even this medium, this Witch of Endor, is going to slaughter her own calf to be able to give him to eat. This is a troubling scene for the people, because they're about to battle their arch nemesis, and Saul, his morale is gone, and he is preparing to meet his fate. Okay, I'll meet you again on tomorrow's reading, the last one for this week.